welcome to our Halloween special. We didn't come up with a name for it because everything sounded weird.
Spooktacular.
Yeah.
Blackwing.
Sorry. Blackwing?
Blackwing.
Halloween? Halloween.
The blackening.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so SOTP is just doing Retro Rewind Halloween specials. And so with our Halloween special, Retro Rewind, we bring you
Blacula.
Scrape and suck. Blacula. Yeah.
I'm sorry. He was. Okay. Oh, right. Synopsis. Okay, so you need a synopsis of a movie named Blacula.
I give you two options.
Could be about. All right, but serious. We thought that this would be okay. By the way, this is the 1970s Blacula, not the 1980s ones with Eddie Murphy. So, just very big difference in tone. So, an African prince is taken, or rather goes to the mansion of Count Dracula. And after an altercation, he gets bit and tossed into a box for the next 200 or so years. And when he comes out, he's Blacula.
Yep. His girl was with him at the time, and now she dead.
Maybe, yeah.
And then she reincarnated.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Or has a child. That wasn't really... That's fine.
Yeah. All right. This was a weird movie. I'm pretty sure all of us here went into the movie, the movie named Blacula, right? Blacula, right? We were expecting it to be kind of a gag comedy, but silly of us, this actually ended up being a pretty serious movie. There wasn't comedy in this movie.
No, just a couple couple cheap laughs. My man's at the bar that was always like taking shots at Blacula. Yeah, there's like a couple cheap stuff, but yeah, it was a typical Dracula story, tragic love story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was set in the 70s, so it was extremely groovy. But it was a serious, tragic Dracula story. I really wish I had remembered the damn name of the main title character.
Prince Mamuwalde.
Okay, thank God. Because I did not want to keep calling him Blacula. All right, Prince Mamuwalde? Mamuwalde.
One of the two. Day or Bay. I don't know which one. I remember how one of us is right, but Mamuwam something.
Day or Bay. Prince.
Yeah, Prince.
The Prince.
The Prince.
Prince Bay.
So Prince Bay wakes up in the modern world, finally, and goes on a slight rampage before he regains his senses. You know, he's been thirsty for a couple 100 years, in more ways than one, because he finds the reincarnation of his lost love. And, that's where the story really starts. So, what do you guys think about Blacula? I'm going to enjoy saying that. So I'm sorry. It's messed up. But just Blacula.
It does roll off the tongue. Blacula. Overall, like, I liked the movie. I wasn't expecting to like the movie. To be honest, I don't know what I was expecting going into the movie. If I was going to like it or dislike it. I just didn't have an opinion. But, I did really end up liking it. I think it told a pretty good story. The start was kind of weird. Like, the intro was pretty good. Like, when, the prince meets Dracula, that whole interaction where he's trying to like free his people and like, no, wasn't freeing his people. What was he doing? He was bringing.
He was against the slave trade, right?
He was against the slave trade. That's what he was. He was against the slave trade, asking Count Dracula to get out the slave trade, and pretty much Dracula screwed him over and like pretty much made him a slave, so to speak. And it was this. After that, it got kind of weird when like this couple just buys essentially buys Dracula mansion and just gets random shit shipped back to the States. And this is how Blacula gets from like whatever country they're in into Harlem.
pretty progressive couple there.
It was a pretty progressive. It was an interracial gay couple that were balling enough to buy a mansion and all the stuff, a castle, an actual castle.
Like, were they gonna have it like? I thought they were gonna like have it disassembled and reassembled. I don't know why I thought that, but like,
I'm not sure. I can't even.
No, they took all the stuff out of it. I think they were like decorating their house at home, but they were just taking all the stuff out of the castle.
They just buying
all the art and stuff out of the castle. Yeah. But it was like I didn't think. I don't know. Maybe my own ignorance. I just didn't think that. I didn't think women or gays really had a place in like movies in that time period. But to come find out, obviously the Pam Grier, like I watched the movies, found out about Pam Grier
and Blaxploitation specifically.
Yeah, and that was like a cool place for him. And I was like, I thought it was dope because it was just like a nice little surprise in there.
That was cool. That wasn't expected. Much like our last movie, which was Blazing Saddles, this movie is not shy about dropping the N-bombs, and in this case, the F-bombs, too. I think we didn't mention that last time on the Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles also dropped quite a few F-bombs. Those Kansas City guys, hats off to them. Because Blazing Saddles didn't have any love for them. Anyway.
Thanks.
So, yeah. It was another look into, like, the reality of the 70s. There was no chill there.
No.
Racial, homophobic, all that was present in the movie, but the heroes of the movie were progressive. Like, they were black mostly. I think they were all black. Right?
Yeah, except for like one detective.
Right, one detective.
Yeah. Or one, he was the boss. He was the chief, I guess.
The chief, yeah.
Right.
And like the way, even the words they did use that weren't, it was always said in like a matter of fact way. Yeah. It never felt like overly offensive. It was just like, this is the word that is used.
Yeah, it was never like lingering, grimace or nothing when they said it.
It was just like, this is the word that is used and it is accepted. Like, for better or for worse. Like, this is the word that is accepted. Yeah. I'm using this sentence and we're going to keep moving.
Yeah. Just kept it moving. So yeah, with that out the way, we got a really impressive love story. Like, it was actually entertaining from like start to finish.
And they told the story they wanted to tell too, and I like that because they kind of paint Dracula off as being a creep with her at the beginning because he like follows her home, he has her wallet, and he's looking for her, whatever. And then like what I like is they have him actually have a conversation. He apologizes and he says like, my bad. He's like, you're just so beautiful. I just had to follow you, and he just.
Try that line at home, folks. It'll drive her wild.
Don't do it.
But then, like, I like the realistic of it. Like, she went home to her friend. Her friend was like, "That's some bullshit. That's crazy. Yeah, like, what are you talking about?"
Had a brain there,
and she's like, "No, I don't know." But like, as the story goes on, you find out more about him. Like, you find out more about him and like how he's not like. Because at the beginning, he's a prince, but like you don't really see much of his character. But you find out how like well spoken he is, how knowledgeable he is, and like how much of just like a real cool dude he is, and like how just effed up the situation is that like he's a vampire. He's literally like murking people to stay alive, but he's like, it's either them or me though.
And one thing the movie didn't really go into too much, but a lot of it's implied is he is a vampire in like a new land. Like he's completely, he was in Africa, he died in Transylvania, now he's in America all of a sudden. So, I mean, through movie magic, he knew English and all this stuff. But there's also that, like, he doesn't have any ties here, so he has to kind of make something for himself, which is what he ends up doing, because he ends up kind of making a small vampire army over time. There's this string of murders, and eventually, he has a shit ton of vampires in a warehouse. Just chilling.
Yeah. Just chilling.
What was the first kill he made? You guys remember?
That had to have been the couple.
Yeah. That's where the
first started. Came around.
Yeah, when they called them. That's where it all started. So that's when like the police started getting involved in the the search for Mamuwalde or whatever, and that's when we kind of get the police's perspective on their the killings or whatever. So we get introduced to the the main detective. He was a black guy.
Yeah, the detective was an interesting character too.
Yeah, he was like the what'd you guys compare him to? He was like Sherlock and
Shaft Sherlock.
All right, fair enough. You know, he had the fro, he had the 70s mustache.
And he wasn't afraid to throw some bowls every now and again. he was putting pieces together.
Yeah. They were all pretty quirky. Like the whole that whole human cast, like the girl, her friend,
the club cast. Was probably my favorite.
Oh, the club cast. I did like them.
Her friend, and the other whatever. I'm just gonna call her Ray.
Dumb name, right? It was like Scratch or something.
I think it was Scratch. It was like
Scratch and Grinder.
What the heck was it, man? I feel as if it was some sort of kitchen utensil, but I don't know why I think that. I really want to look it up now.
You're probably right, but I can't remember.
Hey, what's happening? How's everybody? How you doing, brother? My name is Skilly. How's everything?
Bubbles. I don't know. He had a dumb.
And he just kept talking about his cape. Man, I like your cape, man.
Your cape is groovy, man.
Like every time, I'm like, had one line in the movie with 4 different deliveries.
I thought it was gonna be like a little Chekhov's gun, like he was gonna get it by the end of it, but
bro, because he said it like 7 times.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. There is a Blacula 2.
No,
we still haven't seen it. We still haven't.
Back when we were talking about Chainsaw Man, you said you had a perfect beginning, middle, and end. I think this is it.
This is the exception. Man. I need more Blacula.
Yeah, let's just have the story. We gotta finish the story.
Blacula died. Right, man. My Blacula died at the end of the movie.
Blacula is still alive. That cape is alive and well.
No, Scratch got the cape in the sequel. I know he did. That's cool. I believe in him and his inherited will, so he'll be alright.
Right. Eddie Brock's death don't mean nothing to Venom. I'm just saying, man. Mamuwalde died, but that cape is still at large.
The cape possesses where is it?
Hey man, where do you think Doctor Strange got his cape from, man?
It's Mamuwalde.
Mamuwalde's cape, man.
Cape of Mamuwalde.
That's an item now.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be in a future video game of some sort.
There it is. But Ryan made a good observation after you watched the movie, where like the first couple scenes of the movie, like it feels like everyone just kind of showed up to set and just didn't really give a shit. But like 20-30 minutes into the, I don't even say that long, probably like 15-20 minutes into the movie, he said it felt like everyone just, got together and was like, let's make an actual movie. Because it's like, at one point in the movie, it's a drastic change. Like early on, it's a drastic change from like a tonal shift from like, all right, like we're here to work. We're here to make this movie better. And it you could feel it.
I think I know. I feel like they filmed the first scene actually first. I know in a lot of movies, the first scene, they will film that later. But in this one, I feel like it was filmed first. Because
it's so awkward. It was the pacing. For the whole movie, I would say, like, the movie itself could have been shorter. Like, I felt like it was a lot of,
for sure,
just, I call them the Dragon Ball Z scenes, where you just, a lot of reaction shots, a lot of just, like, nothing happening. Like, not as bad as Homer and Eddie.
They shouldn't have shown.
Definitely some lingering, though.
They shouldn't have shown his attacks, because those attacks were all awkward. Just like him sneaking up.
They were so stiff.
So many backhands.
Bro. I mean, in the 70s, though, that was the strongest attack. That was the strongest attack, man.
Okay. Yeah, that was like the superhero land or the double axle.
Yeah. That you know in the 70s? Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't so the double axle by then.
Wait till you watch Pam Grier movies. You're going to see a lot of backhands.
I'm going to say, bro, just look at like the friggin' the old James Bond movies, man. Sean Connery's backhand was working overtime.
I mean, he brought it to real life, and that's a problem.
Women, oh, shit. Ah, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It's all coming together now.
Yeah, his backhand was too strong.
Okay. Mamuwalde backhanded men. Seriously. Like, it doesn't matter what you were, bro. Mamuwalde gets a hands on you. You getting circle grabbed, and then you getting backhanded. And there's always going to be like a double stop. Where stop, and then backhand.
3 camera cuts.
I mean, I think that's just the wind up, man. That's just the fear set, man. The fear comes in, and then the about to get hit comes in, and you actually get hit.
You know, like when you got the wind up
Mamuwalde smack.
Bro, that has to be the origin of the Falcon Punch, right? Like, that's where it started at. Because the amount of force, the amount of stiff force that was in those backhands, unparalleled.
The Blacula backhand?
The Blacula backhand.
The black
hand. So I had a guy that I used to work with. His name was Gary, and he used to call his special attack the HBMS because he was like, if he ever got in a fight, it was the he bitch man slap. Because he was like, he turns any man into a bitch with this slap.
Dang.
So it was an open hand, it was a backhand and then an open hand slap.
Oh.
And he was just like, and I'm like, we used to always joke around, like, we just talk shit, like, I'm about to HBMS you. And he's like, you HBMS me, one of us is gonna die. Because you can't hit a man like that and expect to have your life afterward.
That's a goddamn paintbrush. Hell no.
Yeah, just backhand somebody, overhand
paintbrushing me.
Yeah, so, I used to always tell him, like, bro, you do that to me, one of us is gonna die. Yeah, that's the only way to do it. And I feel like Blacula, that was the evolution of what Blacula's attack was.
Yeah, except his had super strength. So if he was a human, he was going down probably.
I mean, on neck, my thing is he probably broke your neck, but you might be able to put it back in place with the other side.
Yeah, one way or another, you'll be in traction.
But I like the realism in the world of Blacula. Yeah. I like it. They still were like a black community, like trying to figure out what was going on and what was happening. Like it was interesting too because it takes a conversation that most people don't really talk about is African people versus black people, or the conversation of like black versus African. Like what is it? What's the difference? Blah blah blah. And I think I don't think if you don't know the nuance of it, like you won't be able to pick up on it. Cause like when they're having a whole scene where they're all sitting out at the bar, when they first meet him and they're all drinking and they're like asking him all these questions, it's like they're treating him just like in a 70s situation, like if a white person was sat down, they're asking him the same question, like, oh, where you from? What you do? Like all these like super invasive questions. And like, I thought it was a very interesting take because like most time, like you see somebody that's like similar to you, you don't ask them all those invasive questions, like, oh bro, where you coming from? Blah, 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 blah. And you just kind of kick it off immediately and go from there. So I thought that was a little bit of a little bit insight that I thought was kind of cool.
He's also in a cape.
He was also in a cape.
It was a very groovy cape.
He was a groovy cape. Hey, Scratch liked his cape though.
Yeah, it was a dope cape. Yeah, it was a great Dracula movie because he came in with the air of like aristocracy basically.
True.
And everybody could, even, the way he stood, the way he moved, the way he dressed. He didn't look like nobody else in that groovy club.
Right. And he spoke like a scholar.
From whenever the hell he was from. Perfect English, but again, we're not.
My headcanon for that is like, since he was an African prince, he had extra privileges and he knows like 5 languages. That's what I told myself.
True. To be fair, in Hell Warriors, I got where like if you drain the blood, it does give you, the abilities or memories or whatever.
I do think canonically, like vampires do get something or the knowledge of the person they drain or something.
Yeah.
And like even before that, like in the very first scene, he still did have that air of a very intelligent, educated man.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I think Dracula actually started talking shit about that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was some out of pocket shit.
Essentially, like slaves shouldn't be this smart. Is what it pretty much boiled down to.
Yeah. And like, as an African prince, he had the best education. He probably went to like some fucking university in Britain.
Yeah.
Like Cambridge or
whatever,
Probably. He was definitely like T'Challa from 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is this OG T'Challa?
OG
is this T'Challa's great grandpa? Is this the OG Black Panther?
Black Vampire?
That's not the title. There it is. Black Vampire.
Nah. Blacula.
I'm sure Black Vamp was on the cutting room. Like that was on the board somewhere for title names.
It makes you really think like how come they didn't just name it Black Dracula?
Yeah,
I guess it's just not as marketable.
Blackula sounds better. It does sound better.
It's not much better.
For the time, I think it would have sounded hip. Like if it was the 70s,
I think it would sound cool.
Hip. Yeah.
Because the thing, you got to think, this was in that Blaxploitation area where like using black in the title was a draw. And I'm sure Black Dracula and Blacula was probably like the last 2 names that were in the hat, and they're just like,
yeah. It's not to shit on Eddie Murphy, but it is was it Vampire in Brooklyn? That was an Eddie Murphy movie.
Was it? I thought his was just Blacula.
It was something in Brooklyn. I think it was
Vampire in Brooklyn. I think it was Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Blacula probably better title than Vampire in Brooklyn.
I don't even remember Vampire in Brooklyn. Like, I know I saw it, but
it's actually really similar to this. I can't remember the plot exactly, but I remember he was trying to find like a lover, like a modern day lover.
It makes sense though. That's kind of always Dracula's story. Either he's finding his lover or someone murked his lover. He's going to murder everyone else because of it.
Yeah. Too bad that's in the 90s because we could probably watch that one.
Oh yeah.
We don't have a 90s show just yet, folks. But
yeah, I actually think it should be comedy though. I think comedies in the 90s are like the best. For the 90s, I think comedy is the best genre. The 90s.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Murphy was one of the people that was like leading that shit, to be honest.
Yeah, him and Jim Carrey just ruled the 90s.
For real, though.
A lot of Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I love Jim Carrey.
And Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, too.
And in various forms, the Wayans brothers. There was a lot of...
Well, they jump-started
in the 80s.
The 90s. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like, everything in the 90s is somehow related to them.
Yes.
Some spider web way here or there.
Yes. I respect the heck out of them.
Yeah, all 13 of them, 14 of them, 15. I don't know how many motherfuckers there are now.
I think eventually that's going to be worth a deep dive into going into like
the Wayans clan.
The Wayans clan and how they finally got the rights to their movies. Because all those movies they made, I think eventually those rights got stolen from them.
I didn't know that. That's worthy of a deep dive, yeah.
Yeah, all those parodies and stuff like that.
I imagine it's a similar story to Taylor Swift's story.
Probably. I watched it a while ago and I can't remember the details of it, but I think that does hold true.
I can only imagine, like, because it's a Hollywood story about people getting their shit back after someone took it from them. Like, it's only so many ways that can go.
Yeah, so they had to come up with something new, basically.
But it's crazy, though, because, like, it's probably, like, a good, I'll say 10 to 20% of Hollywood that is, like, directly affiliated with them or were affiliated with them because of In Living Color.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Like In Living Color, like the 90s. It's everyone that was famous in the 90s was
Jamie
on In Living Color.
Jim Carrey, J-Lo, some more, but I can't even think of right now.
All of SNL. Like the original SNL cast, like it's crazy. Like In Living Color started so many fucking careers. Yeah, Dracula. But as a Dracula movie, I wish it would have had more Dracula in it.
He just disappeared after the start of it.
No, I mean even Blacula himself. Like I just wish he did more like vampire stuff. Like he did. Eventually, he turned into a bat. Like at the very end.
Oh, yeah, that was actually pretty impressive because like the effects on that. I imagine they couldn't do that more than that many times, but they did really good with it.
I could dispense with you now, Doctor. But I have a rather urgent appointment elsewhere.
Yeah, they showed it off pretty. I was satisfied with how much they showed it off just because like it happened most in the climax. Or he just kind of like snuck up on people and just,
I guess, if anything, like just looking at it now, I guess I would have wanted I would have wanted his makeup to be a little bit better and wanted him to.
Didn't like the mascara?
I just like they just put green and brown on him. He kind of looks kind of dirty.
He looked like a
zombie, I guess.
It's kind of a problem. Yeah, it's kind of a problem. It was just funeral makeup, but it just looked like that because he has color in his skin. He has pigmentation.
Yeah, it just
so it made it look swampy or whatever.
Yeah, and I was just like,
he was sweaty.
Yeah,
he was
sweaty. How do you not talk about that? He was the Rock sweaty. He was like the Rock in Fast and the Furious movie sweaty.
Like, I don't blame him. I feel as if it must have actually just really been really freaking hot.
Yeah.
I can imagine like 70s like movie lights. I can only imagine they were like 40,000 degrees. Yeah. Plus you wearing all black and this and like
it's probably
who knows how much makeup.
Big ass afro.
And summertime.
And you're the only one wearing a face full of clown makeup, basically.
Jeez.
It was not a good look for him. Did they invent air conditioning?
Movies like this make you think about
That's a good question. But my thing too, even if air conditioning was out, is like, bro, them lights, Like, I've been in a photography studio with one of those, like, old tungsten lights. You get near that shit, you can feel the heat radiating off of it. So, like, if you got, like, 6, 7, 8 of them bitches, like, on set, I can only imagine. The Rock is just The Rock. I don't know why he was that sweaty, but, like, Blacula, man.
It was actually immersion breaking. Once we noticed it, we noticed it.
Because he's having like this profound speech, and
you
just see him he's dripping, just drip.
He wasn't even doing anything. He was just talking.
So you know the worst part about that is like that's after it got wiped. Like somebody wiped his face off a couple times before they did that scene, and director's like
reapply makeup, man. They have to reapply makeup after they do that.
Yeah. Oh man.
The director's like, bro, we got to get done with this scene. Just be sweaty. Call it a day.
Yeah. You can't even like explain that because he's dead. Like,
yeah. I mean, okay. How about
corpse
this?
water?
Dead people are cold, and that was condensation.
There you go.
Just like that ice scene in the. Remember the lady died, and then they took her to the morgue and took her out. And she's thawing out. They shook the crystals in front of the microphone.
Oh right, yeah, I remember that. You said. I was hearing some weird tinkly stuff, and then Breezy was like, "Oh, that's the sound of the ice," and I'm like, "Bro, that don't sound like ice at all. That's the dumbest ice ever." Turns out it was the sound of the fucking ice.
That clip from the ice is so good. It's so good.
It's so loud.
It's so loud. Like
so unrealistic, bro. It didn't sound like ice. It sounded like Christmas.
I mean, how frozen she was unrealistic. It was bad.
Yeah. Oh, that whole scene when they were in the morgue and the dude with the hook hand was like trying to perv on the court.
That was random.
That scene you could just took that whole scene out. Like it took so much away from the movie.
True.
Like I get it. It showed you that like the vampire was cold and they came out.
Yeah, it just kind of padded the movie. It did succeed in like kind of showing you that what his curse is doing. But then again, you do get that at the very end of it with the warehouse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was what it conveyed was conveyed in other places in the movie. So like it just the scene itself didn't do.
It's probably like maybe like an action movie quote, like an action scene quote. They're like, oh, we need an exciting scene here, so let's throw
fair enough.
Is that fair? You got a guy with a hook hand, so you got to get him some scenes. Like how often can you like canonically put a guy with a hook hand in a movie and like make it work? Or strong hand,
strong hand.
So about the hero of Blacula, I actually really liked his performance. He was like you said, Sherlock Shaft. He did feel like a real. He was doing real detective work to catch Blacula.
Yeah. And
like you said about realism, how you felt that it was pretty realistic. I like the fact that Blacula left very realistic, I was going to say paper trails, but no, blood trails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how he really just tracked them down just using good police work. And then weird shit started happening. Like he wanted to check out the body of one of the victims and there's like, it walked away.
And he's like, what?
Huh? Everyone's like, what? I really like that. It was a great scene. And it showed some real interactions between the supernatural and the natural. And I really like that in vampire movies.
That stuff was it was understated too, because like there was a lot of swaths to this movie without Blacula in it, but they were just as entertaining as the stuff with them. Like the police scenes were just all the police characters, but they carried the movie because there was a lot of them.
I guess I didn't even realize that it was a lot of scenes. Like Blacula, realistic was probably like half the movie, give or take. It was a decent amount of scenes where he wasn't there, where they were trying to find him and like trying to track him and stuff. And like it held over really well.
Yeah, and it was that connection with the detective's wife and the girl Blacula was like trying to his reincarnated wife. They were sisters.
That was a cool story thread because it was like kind of a throwaway story at the beginning because it's like female protagonist best friend. It's like okay, cool, like that's their archetypes, but their characters and their interactions too, like from really really cool. Like just hey girl, I don't know if you should be doing that, bro. Like children, nah, I don't know about that. Like I like how the interactions between. She was like okay, like I'll let you know where I am. Like I'll call you when I get home. Like I like to see like the because I mean in my experience, I mean that's how I think a girl conversation would go. So I mean, like
And they were actually good friends. Like, they were actually looking out for each other.
Yeah, and it was like legit conversation. They looked out for each other. They cared for each other. And like, there were consequences for things that happened.
Yeah, there definitely were. That we won't spoil anything there. Except that we spoiled everything else there. She dies.
Yep.
Dumb bitch.
Yep. After she got turned.
Oh, yeah, she dies twice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Damn. I'm sorry. Forgot about that.
Gotta take an L, take 2 L's, I guess.
Take 2 L's. It is a tragic love story, so.
True.
It is. It is a tragic love story.
I really did not like the female lead. Her character.
Oh, was like damsel?
A wet noodle.
I guess so.
Yeah, she was probably the most uninteresting out of all the characters. Because his wife, even at the beginning, I feel like she had more character.
Yeah, she had spine, you know?
Yeah.
The same actress, though, right?
Yeah.
We're just playing the more spunky character at the beginning and the more...
Didn't she, like, uppercut someone 200 years ago?
She was fighting the other vampires and, like, Dracula before, like,
yeah,
everything got weird.
She had opinions and shit.
She just wasn't. She was a person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. She was a queen or a princess, I guess.
Yeah, like she went there with him as like a diplomat. Like they went there both as diplomats. And she wasn't just his trophy wife. Like no, they were there together to stop the slave trade.
And then she became definitely a damsel. She had a presence at least. Like when she was on the screen, like I was tuned in to her.
But that's because she was pretty, or was that?
That's most likely because she was pretty. But I think she had like physical, probably like she could physically act, but she just her character was just like a wet noodle.
Yeah, nothing against the actress because we
know she can act.
We've
seen it.
Yeah. The first scene showed that she was awesome. Yeah, like I can't remember what she did to piss Dracula off, which unfortunately led to the first character's death. Although maybe that was actually fortunate because Dracula did not have good intentions for her, if you remember.
Yeah, he did not.
But afterwards, she's just like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know how to feel, and it's like she just didn't have a spine in the future.
And it was kind of unrealistic to a degree, too. Yeah. Because he was really creeping. And it's like she wasn't seeing none of the signs. Like, not a one.
Like, I was...
And it's like, because they force you to know that Dracula has good intentions. You know what I mean? Like, we know Dracula's got good intentions because we know Dracula. But...
Blacula.
Like, we know Blacula had good intentions because we know Blacula. We see his story. But she doesn't know what we know. But like the way she acted is as if she did know what we know.
Yeah, she was like a lovesick puppy.
Yeah,
it wasn't fun to watch.
No, because they didn't even do like if they would have leaned more into like the you're a reincarnation and like you love him because you love him
back, and all that
like
stuff.
that stuff. If they linked more into that, I think that would have made her character better.
I think you know what, maybe that was there, but it was understated. I feel like that's probably what was happening, but they just didn't spell it out for us.
That could be fair.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because maybe if she had more of a spine and was able to state that clearly that I feel an attraction to him, I think what he's saying is true. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go be with him. And they wouldn't have hunted her ass down and killed her later.
To be fair, though, she did say that to her sister when they had that one conversation the second one when after Blacula had gave her wallet back and they had talked or whatever, and she was talking to her sister. She was like, I think I really like him and I think I'm gonna give him a try. So they did have
that, yeah.
So I think you're right, Breeze. I think it was there. They just didn't go they didn't fully realize that part of her character. And I think that was to me, in my opinion, that was the weakest part of the movie.
I think so. Just like a little bit more could have went
a long way with that. Yeah. If anything, if you give me a little bit more of her and take that hook hand scene out, I think that movie, it goes up a couple points for me just from that.
Maybe if we watch Blackula 2, we'll have done something like that.
Nah, man. Nah, man. You're going to be in the Homer and Eddie Breezy pile. That's what it looked like.
Hey, audience. What do you guys think about us watching Blackula?
Fair enough. If they troll us into it, I guess we can't divide. But
I'm going to do a community poll. I would do a community poll
for Blackula 2 or what? You gotta do
or something else.
Yeah, throw a couple.
We got our choice. Okay,
give them like 2 or 3 choices at least. For
was there a Blackula 3?
No,
that's fine.
There wasn't a regular.
Okay.
I mean, I guess
but there
Vampire
should have
Brooklyn.
been one.
Vampire in Brooklyn might be the son of Blacula.
Yeah. Have to agree.
But yeah, I mean, so what'd you do? You guys watch it again? You guys care to watch it again?
I enjoyed it.
It was a good movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah.
I may actually watch the sequel, non-ironically, just because I want to know if this was a one-off fluke. It feels like it should have been a fluke. That in my head, it feels like this should have been a fluke. There's no way that they can make 2 movies named Blacula and accidentally have it be serious.
I don't want to make that bet.
I feel like you're right. I feel like he's right about that. Like 100%.
I do. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just don't want to roll the dice. Like, I'm going to keep shaking the dice and never roll them.
I ain't taking that bet.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm just just watching it and figure it out.
Nah, man. Like, yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out. Let's see what the people want. The people wants it. The people gets it. That's how it works.
Yep.
But you guys got anything else? I think that's it for all. That's all I got for Blacula.
That's it. Climax. Climax. Let's talk about the climax.
Pretty good, actually. Yeah. Like, I'm comparing this to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where the climax
same
was the
energy.
part that, same energy. But I feel like they just did it better here.
Okay.
Like, usually, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I really didn't like it, but here it's like, it was action, and it actually made sense.
Mm-hmm. I think there was emotion attached to it. Like, he really was trying to be non-violent until, like, after they killed her, he just...
Oh, he lost it.
He just like, nah, bro. He did the body slam, I mean, the circle grabs and the backhand.
Remember the trash can?
After... After they killed her, he just gave up, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the second time, when they killed their vampire, because at first he started going ham.
Mm.
Yeah, after they killed her vampire.
Yeah.
There wasn't nothing left he could do, yeah.
Because that was just a gentleman's thing. It was like, the reason I was fighting is gone. It was like, you guys won.
Bid you adieu.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. Before, he was trying to protect her or whatever, and everybody was there, and he was trying to kill him. Then, of course, he kept his weakness near his coffin. Those fucking fire oil things or whatever.
Oh, the oil barrels.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's level.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good. That was a good toss.
That was a good toss.
Yeah, that was a good toss.
That was a good toss.
That's where you actually saw his super strength. Just like, get out of here.
I like to think that, like, during the movie, Blacula was Superman in it. Like, he was holding back the whole movie.
He was
trying not to, because he really was trying to be non-violent until the end. And he just,
you saw him. He was shrugging off bullets. He was, throwing people around and.
Yeah, that backhand was getting that extra work, man. That HBMS.
That super strong powered backhand with the muscle fibers in it.
Super smooth muscle fibers.
Super smooth. Yeah, it was great.
Explosive damage.
It was amazing. And you got to see the humans come in, and they got swarmed by the vampire horde, and luckily the weakness was around to burn up the warehouse, and that's all she wrote. Yeah,
it was good controlled chaos. Like, it felt like a chaotic ending, but it was like you felt like the energy. Like you felt like his chaotic energy, like his girl's gone. He's like, what do? I need to do this, whatever. And then when she dies, and he's just like, damn. Like, because it's true, like, I feel like his emotion kind of dictates the scene. Like, the scene starts off kind of slow, but then, like, the scene goes crazy. Vampires biting people, fighting crazy stuff. And then, like, after she dies, it kind of just goes, like, the whole energy of the scene just goes.
So, honestly, the love part of it is very, you can empathize with that. But this motherfucker he had a vampire army. So he had some dark intentions there too.
He was biting some people,
But it was also like, it was survival. It's like,
It is.
And I think, to be honest, I think he had the vampire army because he didn't want to kill people. And like, that was his way of not killing them. So like, is it a fate worse than death? Yeah. But I think based on his character and him like trying to be nonviolent, I think that was his way of like trying to continue that, so to speak.
True.
Path to hell is paved with good intentions type deal.
I guess so, because that won't end well.
I kind of agree with you. Like, the couple that he killed, he wasn't in control of his
hunger
faculties then. Yeah. The bunny girl who took that picture of him, that was cold, calculated murder.
Yeah, he's like, you gotta go.
He's like, Yeah, that was a murder.
That was a murder.
Yeah, that one was actually he was like, yeah. Oh, you only live next door to the club? Yeah, I got you. Yeah, got you.
Oh man, that was a nice blast from the past too. I used to love the scenes in movies where they had the red room, the photograph.
Yeah,
because the tension. The moment I see that room in an older movie, I know it's tension. Somebody's either got something not supposed to, or about to see something not supposed to, and they're either going to get away or they're going to die right then and there.
Talk about not seeing some shit you ain't supposed to. Resident Evil 2, you saw that photo of Rebecca. What the fuck you doing, Wesker? Why you got that?
awkward.
Wesker being Wesker, man.
Wesker being a villain, man.
He's a menace. Wesker's been a menace since day one.
Yeah, but yeah, that was it. At the very end, we talked about Blacula went outside and,
touch grass.
She just said a gentleman's lost, man. He just, it was just a graceful defeat. He's like, you know what? You guys took my castle.
Yep.
I'm out. Yep. That's what I'm saying, man. Blacula 2 can stay in, whatever, wherever it is, man. You can watch it if you want, but I don't know. We'll see how, if the people wants it.
Fan vote.
If the people want it, I guess. I hope they don't want it, but we'll see what they want. Oh man! Final thoughts?
Good movie, not a joke.
Yeah, I would completely agree. That's exactly how I feel about it.
I went into a wholehearted thinking it was gonna be a fucking joke.
I expected a comedy.
I did.
A gag. Comedy.
I did. Like just wacky and just loony. I guess I expected more like Blazing Saddles, just wacky and just off-putting comedy. But I was pleasant. I was glad I was wrong. I'm very glad I was wrong with this movie.
Everything based off of Blacula seems to be a parody or a comedy. I'm thinking like Billy and Mandy. Because they got Blacula and Billy and Mandy. And whatever else I've seen, like the Black Vampire has always been like funny.
Yeah.
But not this.
Legitimately funny. Legitimately laugh your ass off funny, but yeah. So I guess it was fun to see like the origin of Blacula, I guess. And like, I guess where the meme comes from.
Mm-hmm. He did it first before that guy in Guilty Gear. Forgot his name, but yeah.
Terrible. So with that, may best stay warm, your pillow stay cold.
Stay perfect, chat.
Peace.